They told you to avoid every single root vegetable on the planet. They told you that anything growing underground was your enemy. They told you that as a diabetic, you had to say goodbye forever to some of the most nourishing, satisfying, and ancient foods in human history. And I am here today to tell you, with 25 years of medical experience behind me, that you have been misled. Dramatically, dangerously, and unnecessarily. Not all root vegetables are the same, not even close. Some of them will send your blood sugar rocketing to 200 in under an hour. But others, and this is what nobody is telling you, will keep you locked in at a stable, beautiful 130, give you clean, sustained energy for hours, and actually improve your insulin sensitivity over time. The difference is not magic, it is science. And today I am going to give you that science in plain language so you can use it starting tonight. I am Dr. Louisa Hart, physician specialized in diabetic nutrition, and today I am revealing the 7 root vegetables that every diabetic not only can eat, but genuinely should be eating for quality carbohydrates, powerful fiber, essential vitamins, and rock-solid blood sugar stability. But first, I need you to feel something for a moment. Picture yourself at the dinner table. Your family is eating sweet potato. The smell is incredible, warm, slightly caramelized, deeply comforting. And you are sitting there with your plain grilled chicken and your bowl of lettuce, telling yourself this is just how it has to be. You have been told no potatoes, no sweet potatoes, no cassava, no carrots, no yam. Anything that grows underground is forbidden, full stop. You are not alone in that seat. Millions of diabetics are sitting in that exact chair right now. Not because the science demands it, but because nobody took the time to explain which roots are dangerous and which ones are actually your allies. Nobody showed you how preparation method changes everything. Nobody handed you the list until today. Imagine eating sweet potato 3 times a week without your glucose moving into dangerous territory. Imagine variety on your plate again. Imagine meals that actually satisfy you for 4 or 5 hours without that terrifying spike 2 hours after eating. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when you understand the glycemic index, fiber content, and preparation techniques behind each individual root vegetable. And root vegetable number 3 on today's list has such a remarkably low glycemic index that many of my patients eat it every single day, without seeing any meaningful spike at all. So stay with me. This information could genuinely transform the way you eat for the rest of your life. Before we go further, I want to ask you one small favor. If this content is helping you, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the Dr. Joseph channel. Your support is what allows me to keep producing this kind of medically grounded, practical nutrition education. It costs you nothing, and it means everything. Now let me tell you about Roberto. Roberto was 64 years old when he walked into my consultation 6 months ago. He sat down across from me, folded his hands on the table, and said, and I will never forget this, "Doctor, I feel like my diet is a prison sentence." He had been diabetic for 4 years. His glycated hemoglobin was sitting at 7.8%. Not catastrophic, but not where we needed it either. And the bigger crisis was not even his numbers. It was his spirit. For 2 years, Roberto had eliminated everything. No rice, no bread, no potato, no sweet potato, grilled chicken, salad, day after day after day. He was following the most extreme version of the advice he had been given, and he was miserable. He told me, with real shame in his voice, that he had started sneaking cookies at night. "Just 3 or 4, he said, "but I know I should not. It is my only escape." This is what happens when a diet is too restrictive for too long. The human brain finds a way out, and that way out is almost always worse for your blood sugar than the foods you were avoiding in the first place. I asked him which root vegetables he was avoiding. He said, all of them. His doctor had told him carbohydrates raise blood sugar, so he eliminated everything: sweet potato, yam, cassava, carrots, gone. And that is where the problem lived. Roberto was following a blunt, oversimplified rule that was making him suffer without any real benefit. Because the truth is, the glycemic index of sweet potato is between 44 and 61. The glycemic index of white potato is between 85 and 95. Those are not even close to the same food metabolically. Treating them identically is like saying all exercise is bad because running a marathon is hard on your knees. I gave Roberto a specific list of 5 root vegetables he could reintroduce, with exact portions, exact preparation methods, and exact food combinations. 2 weeks later, he called me. He was emotional. "Doctor," he said, "I ate sweet potato 3 times this week. My blood sugar never went above 155 after a meal. I cannot believe I avoided it for 2 years." 3 months later, his hemoglobin had dropped from 7.8 to 7.3%, not because he found some miracle supplement, but because he was finally following a diet he could actually maintain without feeling like a prisoner. That is the power of the right information. Now let us get into the 7 root vegetables themselves. Root vegetable number 1, sweet potato. Sweet potato is one of the most powerful, versatile, and genuinely safe foods a diabetic can eat regularly, and the research to support that statement is extensive and compelling. While the ordinary white potato carries a glycemic index between 85 and 95, sweet potato sits at a dramatically lower 44 to 61, depending on preparation. That places it firmly in the low to moderate range on the glycemic scale, which means it releases glucose into your bloodstream slowly and progressively, rather than dumping it all at once and sending your numbers into crisis territory. But the glycemic index is only the beginning of the story with sweet potato. It delivers approximately 4 grams of high-quality dietary fiber per 100 grams when cooked. Both soluble and insoluble fiber work together to slow digestion and dramatically reduce the rate at which sugar enters your bloodstream, keeping your glucose stable for hours after eating. It is loaded with vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene, the same vibrant orange pigment that gives it that gorgeous color, which supports your vision, your immune system, and your skin, all 3 of which are frequently compromised in people with poorly controlled diabetes. And here is the piece of science that most people, including many physicians, do not know about sweet potato. It contains a bioactive compound called Kaipo that has been studied extensively for its documented ability to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce fasting blood glucose. In clinical studies conducted at major medical universities, people with type 2 diabetes who consumed sweet potato extract or regularly ate sweet potato over 8 to 12 weeks showed significant measurable reductions in both fasting blood sugar and glycated hemoglobin. On top of that, sweet potato provides meaningful amounts of potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure, frequently elevated in diabetics, and manganese, which plays a critical role in how your body metabolizes carbohydrates and processes glucose. The antioxidants in sweet potato, particularly the anthocyanins found in purple varieties, actively fight the oxidative stress and chronic inflammation that worsen insulin resistance. Now here is how to prepare it correctly, because preparation is everything. Bake it whole with the skin on at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 50 minutes until it is tender inside but not falling apart. The skin concentrates fiber and nutrients that are lost when you peel before cooking. Never fry it. Never add sugar, honey, maple syrup, or any sweetener. Many restaurants do this, and it completely destroys the metabolic benefit, turning a health food into a glycemic disaster. Always serve your sweet potato alongside lean protein, grilled chicken breast, baked fish or firm tofu, and plenty of non-starchy vegetables like steamed broccoli, sautéed spinach, or a green salad. This combination of sweet potato plus protein plus vegetables is the formula that keeps your blood sugar stable for 4 to 5 hours without any spike or crash. The correct portion is 1/2 cup of cooked sweet potato cubed, or 1 small whole sweet potato roughly the size of your closed fist, not larger. If you double the portion, even with its lower glycemic index, you will see your glucose move more than you want. One of my patients, Martha, 59 years old, had avoided sweet potato for 3 years out of fear. When she reintroduced it following these exact instructions, 1/2 cup with chicken and broccoli, her blood sugar 2 hours later was 148. With white potato, it used to reach 195. That difference of nearly 50 points completely transformed her confidence in her ability to eat carbohydrates again. Root vegetable number 2, turnip. Turnip is one of the most underrated vegetables in the entire diabetic nutrition conversation, and that needs to change immediately. With a glycemic index of only 30, it is among the lowest of any edible root on the planet. This means it causes minimal elevation in your blood sugar, making it one of the safest options you can possibly put on your plate. Turnips are extraordinarily low in calories, just 28 calories per 100 grams, while being rich in fiber that supports healthy digestion and slows sugar absorption. They deliver vitamin C, which strengthens your immune system, and potassium, which regulates blood pressure. Both are vital for diabetics managing cardiovascular risk. But what makes turnip genuinely special from a biochemical standpoint is its glucosinolate content, compounds with potent anti-inflammatory properties that can actively help combat the chronic inflammation that underlies and worsens insulin resistance. Less inflammation in your body means better insulin sensitivity, and better insulin sensitivity means better long-term glycemic control. How to prepare turnip. Roast it in cubes with olive oil and herbs like rosemary or thyme. Add it to soups and stews, or grate it raw into salads with carrot and spinach. Combine it with other diabetic-friendly ingredients like garlic, kale, or sweet potato to stack the benefits. Root vegetable number 3, carrot. This is the one I promised you, the one that surprises people every single time. Carrots, those crunchy, naturally sweet, universally available vegetables, are outstanding for diabetics when consumed the right way. Raw carrot has a glycemic index of just 35 to 40. It releases sugar into your bloodstream slowly and steadily. But here is the critical detail that changes everything. When carrots are overcooked, their glycemic index can climb all the way to 85. The preparation method does not slightly affect the outcome, it transforms it entirely. Raw carrots are packed with beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, essential for eye health and immune function, both under threat in diabetics. They provide fiber that supports digestion and stabilizes glucose, and their antioxidants fight the inflammation directly linked to diabetic complications. The rule with carrots is simple and non-negotiable. Eat them raw or steam them lightly for 5 to 7 minutes maximum. When you overcook them, their fibrous structure breaks down and the sugar becomes rapidly available for absorption, causing exactly the spike you are working so hard to avoid. Eat raw carrot sticks as snacks. Add grated raw carrot to salads. If you cook them, steam only, 5 to 7 minutes, tender but still firm. Combine with lean protein and vegetables for a balanced meal. The correct portion is 1 cup of raw carrot sticks or half a cup steamed. One of my patients, Carlos, 62 years old, had been boiling his carrots for 25 minutes. His blood sugar would spike to 175 every time. When he switched to raw carrot or lightly steamed carrot, his reading stayed at 140. Same vegetable, completely different metabolic outcome, different preparation, different result. Root vegetable number 4, yam. Yam is frequently confused with sweet potato, but they are genuinely different vegetables with different nutritional profiles. True yam has a glycemic index of approximately 51, placing it in the moderate category, still very manageable for diabetics when eaten in the right portion. What makes yam particularly fascinating is what happens to its starch content when you cook it and then cool it. Similar to what occurs with rice, a portion of the starch in yam converts into resistant starch when refrigerated after cooking. Your body cannot fully digest resistant starch, which means it does not raise your blood sugar the way regular starch does. This process effectively reduces the glycemic impact of yam beyond what the index number suggests. Yam is also rich in fiber, vitamin C, potassium, and manganese. The fiber slows digestion and stabilizes glucose. The potassium regulates blood pressure, crucial for diabetics facing elevated cardiovascular risk. The manganese supports carbohydrate metabolism and the way your body processes and utilizes glucose. The powerful technique here: boil or roast your yam, then let it cool completely in the refrigerator for several hours before eating. You can reheat it afterward if you prefer it warm. The resistant starch largely remains even after reheating. Serve half a cup with baked fish and green vegetables. Yam works beautifully in soups and stews, where it cooks slowly alongside other ingredients, absorbing flavors while its structure moderates glucose release. Root vegetable number 5, beetroot. Beetroot has a moderate glycemic index of around 61. And before that number makes you hesitant, let me give you the full picture. Because the story of beetroot for diabetics goes far beyond glycemic index, and it is genuinely remarkable. Beetroot is loaded with dietary fiber that slows the absorption of its natural sugars significantly. But more importantly, it contains nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that improves blood circulation and lowers blood pressure. For diabetics managing elevated cardiovascular risk, this is not a minor detail. This is critical cardiovascular protection. Beetroot is also packed with antioxidants called betalains that combat inflammation and oxidative stress, two of the primary biological processes that worsen insulin resistance and accelerate diabetic complications. Research suggests that beetroot can improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your body becomes more efficient at regulating blood glucose. Its potassium, vitamin C, and folate content supports overall metabolic health and provides protection against diabetic complications in the kidneys, nerves, and eyes. How to prepare it: roast it, steam it, or eat it raw and sliced in fresh salads. For a powerful health drink, blend beetroot with citrus fruit or dark leafy greens. Its naturally sweet, earthy flavor makes it one of the most versatile vegetables in this entire list. Combine it with spinach, carrots, and lean protein for balanced, complete meals. The correct portion is half a cup of cooked beetroot. Root vegetable number 6, garlic. Technically, garlic is a bulb rather than a root vegetable, but it belongs on this list without question because its benefits for diabetics are extraordinary and extensively documented. Garlic contains a sulfur compound called allicin that has been studied for its ability to improve insulin sensitivity and lower blood glucose levels. Clinical research suggests that regular garlic consumption can reduce fasting blood sugar and meaningfully improve overall glycemic control over time. Beyond blood sugar management, garlic reduces inflammation, supports cardiovascular health, and strengthens immune function, all of which are critical priorities for anyone living with diabetes. The mechanism is important to understand. Garlic's ability to improve insulin sensitivity means your cells become better at responding to insulin and taking up glucose from the bloodstream, reducing the amount of glucose left circulating at dangerously elevated levels. Its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties protect against the long-term complications of diabetes, including cardiovascular disease, peripheral neuropathy, and kidney damage. How to use it: roast it, saute it, or eat it raw according to your preference. Add garlic to stir-fries, soups, and roasted vegetables to elevate both flavor and health benefits simultaneously. Combine it with lean proteins like fish or chicken, or add it generously to vegetable-forward dishes. Garlic is one of the most versatile ingredients in human cooking. It belongs in almost every meal you prepare. Root vegetable number 7, onion. Onion is a foundational ingredient in cuisines across every culture on earth. And it is also, and many people do not realize this, a secret weapon for diabetic blood sugar management. Onions are rich in sulfur compounds and antioxidants, most notably quercetin, a flavonoid that plays a significant role in reducing inflammation and improving insulin sensitivity. Onion has a low glycemic index, producing a slow and gradual release of glucose into the blood and preventing the dangerous spikes that cause so much damage over time. A single serving of onion provides dietary fiber, vitamin C, and potassium. The fiber helps with digestion and slows sugar absorption. The vitamin C supports immune health, which is frequently compromised in people with elevated blood glucose. The potassium regulates blood pressure and reduces the risk of cardiovascular complications, one of the most serious threats facing diabetics long term. How to use onions. Saute finely sliced onion in olive oil and combine with lean proteins like chicken or fish. Add raw onion to salads for crunch and flavor. Caramelize onions slowly to enrich soups and stews. For a quick and satisfying snack, layer thin sliced onion on whole grain bread with avocado. Combine onions with other diabetic-friendly powerhouses like garlic, tomato, and spinach for nutrient-dense meals that actively support your metabolic health. Now let me bring everything together for you clearly. Today you have discovered the 7 root vegetables that every diabetic can eat safely and strategically. Sweet potato, With its low glycemic index, its Kaya-Po compound, and its proven ability to improve insulin sensitivity. Turnip, with a glycemic index of just 30 and powerful anti-inflammatory glucosinolates. Carrot, which releases sugar slowly when eaten raw or lightly steamed, and remains one of the most accessible and affordable vegetables on the market. Yam, which creates beneficial resistant starch when cooked and cooled. Beetroot, which improves blood circulation, lowers blood pressure, and enhances insulin sensitivity through its nitrate content. Garlic, which reduces fasting blood sugar and fights the inflammation that makes insulin resistance worse. And onion, which stabilizes blood glucose through its low glycemic index and its quercetin content. You saw what happened with Roberto. He reintegrated root vegetables into his diet with the right knowledge, and his hemoglobin dropped from 7.8 to 7.3% over 3 months. Not because he added a medication, not because he ran a marathon, but because he stopped eating a diet that was making him miserable and started eating a diet built on accurate science instead of oversimplified fear. For the best results, always respect portions. Half a cup of cooked root vegetable per meal is your baseline. Always combine your root vegetable with lean protein and non-starchy vegetables. Never eat a root vegetable alone as a standalone meal. Preparation method matters enormously. Bake, steam, or roast. Never fry, never overcook. Here is my challenge to you this week. Choose 2 of these 7 vegetables. Prepare them exactly as I have described. Eat the correct portion alongside your protein and vegetables. Measure your blood sugar 2 hours after your meal. The numbers you see may genuinely surprise you. And that surprise, that moment when you realize the food you feared is actually working with your body and not against it, that moment changes everything. If this video has helped you, please share it with someone who is avoiding all root vegetables out of fear right now. Leave me a comment below telling me which vegetable you are going to try first. I read every single one, and knowing that this content has reached you and helped you genuinely means the world to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Take care of yourself, eat well, live fully, and remember this above all else. The right carbohydrates are not your enemies. They are your allies. They have always been your allies. You just needed someone to show you which ones. I am Dr. Louisa Hart, and I will see you very soon.